in any programming language, including JavaScript, if you're copy and pasting code, there's probably a more efficient way to write things. And, with programming languages in general, you're probably going to want to reduce your code. It will be faster, efficient, easier to maintain over time. And refactoring is just a term for kind of like cleaning up your code. And, we're just going to do this for fun. This is totally acceptable. And you shouldn't even stress. This is not like any big deal. But let's kind of refactor this. And we'll do this by trying to consolidate the actions here since they're so similar. And I'm going to do that by doing form select, form text area on, and then I'm going to do both change and input. And the reason I'm doing this is I want to show you that you can do multiple events with the on helper. And what we're doing here, the way this reads is really important. This says change and input for form select, and then on change and input for text area. So either of these actions for either of these will trigger a response. Now, doing it this way, we're probably going to run into a problem, and I'll show you why, but I want to continue anyways. All right, so what we'll do is let's just copy and paste this code since it's so similar. And then I'll comment this out. And we know we want to do this regardless, so we can keep that. And then reason for contacting or getting the value. The value, we could change that variable name because we know the value is always going to be the same regardless if it's a text area or select, because we were grabbing, if you look from our previous example, we were doing this val, and we just kind of had different variable names for whatever reason. And to be honest, you know what I'll do? I'll not even store in a variable. And now what we're doing here is we need to figure out how to send it to the right spot. So what we'll do is we'll change this to val. So we're changing this to val, but we need to figure out where to send it. And I'm going to just do something like this. So this code would work, except we just don't know where to send the information. So that's going to be our challenge. Now, while the camera was off, what I did, let's find our sidebar or our form. I created a data attribute called where to send. And I just put reason for the dropdown. And then I did where to send message for the text area. And so this is kind of cool because we could just grab, or we can do something like this. Let me space this out. Var where to send is equal to this data where to send. And if I would log this, it's either going to return two things. It's either going to return reason or it's going to return message, which is just coming straight from those attributes. And that's one way we could do this. Now, all I would have to do is say class reason, let's get that variable in there. And I'm going to use a trick called concatenation. Remember that from the JavaScript crash course? jQuery lets you kind of get away with doing things like this. And what we'll do is refresh here, open our console, and see if this works. So the checkbox thing works. Does the message thing work? It does. Does the reason work? It does. Oh, but I have this open too, so let's comment that out. And it still works. Cool. All right, well, you can see that's one way to do it. And the main reason I wanted to do that was just to kind of think in a way where you're not reusing code, but I also wanted to show you could do multiple events. The one thing to look out for, though, is technically for this example, it's fine. This is really small, but what's going on here is I'm going to log the event and the type. And so every time we do a change, it's logging the event. And you can see the counter here. But the problem is this is logging input when we're on message. So it's going up in increments of 1. That makes sense. But if I hit tab, see how it logged the change? 2 events are tied here. So if I would go to change now the dropdown, On change, it logs, but that's also considered an input event, so it's logging double events. So what's actually writing here is this is getting written to our DOM twice. That's not really efficient, but I just wanted to show you for illustrative purposes. In the next lesson, I will refactor this again where this isn't a problem. And I just want to keep this code in there for you guys to reference. So I'll make a note that says double events issue here.